One of the required common course for College Professional Mara KPM student is Business Statistics QMT 2043 students that are pursuing Diploma in Accounting, Diploma in Business Study, Diploma in Business IT, Diploma in Logistical Management, among other diploma, are eligible to take in this course. These students are supposed to enroll this course during the second or third semester of study. In this report, we show the mark, percentage, and grade of students that are take business statistics course. Note that all the qualitative data of pie chart, bar graph, or line will be included inside of this report. Using all those diagrams can make it easy to understand the score, grade, and mark of students. Random sampling method. Random cluster sampling method will be used as the sample technique for this project. Random cluster sampling is one of the probability sampling technique. It is often used for studying hard population, particularly those that are extensively geographically distributed. So, this map shows the sampling method for DIA 2D. This is data tabulation. The information below is collected from across the KPM colleges who take Business Statistics QMT 2043. This table shows category and classification. Category for gender of student DIA 2D is qualitative and gender of each student DIA 2D who take QMT is also qualitative. The category for test 1 mark of each student DIA 2D, test 2 mark of each student DIA 2D, and final exam mark of each student DIA 2D is quantitative and the classification is continuous. Graphical presentation of qualitative data. The following graph shows the quantitative variable data from selected sample. Number 1 is gender of student DIA 2D. So, this pie chart shows gender of student DIA 2D. Gender of student DIA 2D for female is 7, meanwhile, gender of student DIA 2D for male are 16. Number 2. Grade of each student DIA 2D who take QMT 2043 are divided by 6 grades, which is A plus, A solid, A minus, B plus, B solid, and B minus. There are 4 students who get A plus, 6 students get A solid, 5 students get A minus, 5 students get B plus, 2 students get B solid, and 1 student get B minus. Group frequency distribution for test 1. For example, we want to calculate the lower class boundary. For lower class boundary, we need to add the lower class limit, which is 7, to the previous upper class limit, which is 7. Then, we need to divide them by 2. For class width, we need to subtract the upper class boundaries to the lower class boundaries to get the total. Next, for calculate the class mark or midpoint, we need to add the lower class limit to the upper class limit. After that, we need to divide them by 2. Lastly, to calculate the cumulative frequency, we need to add the previous cumulative frequency to the number of students. So, this is the example for test 2 and final. This is graphical presentation of quantitative data. A. Histogram for test 1, B. Frequency polygon for test 2, and C. Cumulative frequency curve for final.
Now I'm going to go through for task 3, which is calculate the mean, mode, and median. Mean is a simple average that can be calculated by dividing the total of data values with the number of data. Mean for test 1 is 10.07, test 2 is 9.07, and final is 40.33. Next is mode. Mode refers to the most frequently occurring value in the data set. By using the most frequently value, we need to calculate them into the formula given. This is the formula to calculate the mode. So mode for test 1 is 11.5, in which the majority of students gets 15.5 marks. For test 2, majority of students get 9.4 marks for their test 2. Lastly, mode for final is 46.36. Last calculation for task 3 is median. Median refers to the median value in the data array. To calculate median, we need to find the location of median class first. After that, using the formula given, we just need to insert the data. Median for test 1 is 11.66. Median for test 2 is 9.64. And final is 42.81. Move forward to task 4. Task 4 is related to the task 3. By using the mean, mode, and median before, we need to summarize the result as a standard deviation. standard deviation is known as a measured spread of data values around the mean. So, this is the formula. A lower standard deviation indicates that the value of data set are clustered close around the mean. In contrast, a larger standard deviation indicates that the values of data are scattered far away from the mean. So the standard deviation for test 1 is 52.40, while test 2 is 47.50. And lastly, final, which is 197.55.
Next, I am going to explain about the coefficient of variation for task 1. Coefficient of variation is used to compare the variability between two or more series with different values of mean. How to find COV? First, the standard deviation must be divided with mean and the answer must be multiplied by 100%. The answer for coefficient of variation for task 1 is 4.90%. As you can see at the slide that already shown, the answer of coefficient of variation for task 2 is 4.90%. At the slide has already shown the calculate of coefficient of variation for task 3. The answer of coefficient of variation for task 3 is 4.90%. Lastly, I am going to explain about Pearson measure of squeeness. Pearson measure of squeeness used to measure the coefficient of the distribution. The formula of how to find the Pearson measure of squeeness is: first, 3 must be multiplied by mean that is need to be minus with median, and the answer must be divided with the standard deviation. The answer of Pearson measure of squeeness for task 1 is negative 0.055. As you can see at the slide that has been shown, the answer of Pearson measure of squeeness for task 2 is 0.0152. At the slide that has been shown has the calculate of Pearson measure of squeeness for task 3. The answer of it is negative 0.0377. Find the mode, median and mean has their own way on how to calculate and get the answer. Same goes to standard deviation, Pearson measure of squeeness and also coefficient of variation. At task 2 and 3 has already shown each calculated of how to find all of them. Two suitable recommendations on how to improve the performance of students in business statistics QMT 2043 is all students need to understand the concept of every chapter in business statistics. By doing this, students can understand the course easily and will make it feel easy. Next, all of the students that taking business statistics course must doing more exercise and keep doing revision for that course. This will help students to remember all the formula and concept in business statistics because they keep doing the same thing before sitting for the final exam.